Hey there, everyone. This is Samuel Johnson, and with me today is
Haley Dudley.
once again, and welcome back to the Alien Force Retrospectives. And today we're going to be looking at episode 21 of Ben 10 Alien Force Voided. And before, like last time, I'm going to ask your thoughts on the episode before I get into my spoilerific plot summary.
Well, I thought it was pretty good. It was definitely, typical Ben 10 type of setup, in my opinion. So, yeah. But I don't want to... You can do your summary, and then I'll talk more.
Okay, so Gwen... In the beginning of the episode, Gwen wants to call Ben and Kevin together because... Once again, sorry about that. But anyway, Gwen wants to call Ben and Kevin because she's getting this strange psychic message. So they're meeting in Ben's room before Kevin can arrive. That the psychic message manifests, and it turns out it's Helen from the Plumber's Helpers episode. It turns out that while she and Manny are in the Null Void, there's something going on. They need help. She's trying to send out an SOS, but unfortunately, before she can say what it is, the message gets cut off because Gwen can't get concentration out. And of course, they're all saying, "Oh, we have to go in. We gotta go save them." But Ben says, "No, I'll go in."
Because that totally makes sense. Hey, place where totally terrifying place where people, just disappear to.
It's okay.
I'll go alone.
It's okay. He's got main character immunity.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah. So anyway, they give him a jetpack and tie him up to this pretty much alien rope. It's alien rope. That's what I'm going to call it. I don't remember what it was called. Bottom line, it's this high-tech thing that it's kind of a tether. So Ben is able to fly into the Null Void, and when he goes in, he sees this guy getting kidnapped. I don't know who he is. I don't care. I found him annoying.
Yeah. Well, he panicked about everything, which was great. Yeah. Because, who doesn't love, there's a sound, oh no, we're all gonna die!
That's exactly what happened. Pretty much. That's exactly what happened, pretty much. But bottom line, but Ben manages to save him from the giant flying gray things. I'm just gonna call them what they're called in the episode, the Null Guardian. Pretty much, Ben is able to save him, and he starts going. When they go settle down, he says, "We got to run away. There'll be more of them. We got to inform the helpers. The dimension's destabilizing." And Ben's just wondering, "Okay, what's going on? Well, what are you talking about?" But before the guy can explain, they're attacked by more Null Guardians who can now shoot lasers out of their mouths because
flying. Well,
giant. They appeared in Ben 10, and they couldn't shoot lasers then.
Well, yeah, but you have to make them scarier the second time around.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Otherwise, it's too easy. This is like level up.
Yeah. But then Helen and Manny come in. Manny flying on a dragon, or a rough equivalent of one, and they manage to get the annoying guy out, and he's gone for the episode. But it turns out that the master of these things that you learn is called Devoid from the annoying guy. Helen and Manny said he's coming. You need to get out here. Ben says no. I want to help you. They don't listen. And Ben tries to help him, but the tether reaches its point, so he can't go any further. But he sees a bunch of Null Guardians swimming around, and in the center he sees Devoid, and much to my and I think yours pleasure. We soon see that Ben knows Devoid. Mm-hmm. It is, in fact, Dr. Animo.
Yeah. He's trying to stand there, be all strong, mysterious, and leaderish.
I'll pause the summary to talk about this, because as anyone who's seen my Ben 10 vlog knows, I effing love Dr. Animo. He is amazing. He was amazing in every scene in Ben 10, and honestly, I was kind of worried for the episode, because remembering it, I remembered his more low voice and even his serious moments. So I honestly thought I wouldn't get much out of him from this one, but the instant he talked, I cracked up. He said, he's trying to be serious. He's trying to be powerful, but you know who it is, and you can't do it.
There's just watching him. Him being serious is ridiculous. Being ridiculous is just like, oh god.
So it's like you can see the insanity underneath. It's like you can still see it there,
but it's not serious. But it's not like mean insanity, or it's not malicious. It's more just you can't take him seriously. It's more of a light, oh, okay, if that's what you want to do, sure.
Yeah, it's like a little kid who suddenly says, "I'm the one in charge now." Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he is as Devoid. Like, he has these solemn, serious moments, and of course, and what's actually better is that in the Null Void, he's actually invincible. They explain how it is later, but pretty much he's extremely powerful. He's gained control over the Null Guardians, which is how he's been able to keep up his power. But when he loses, oh
my god,
it breaks down immediately. He goes right back into full ham. He's like, no.
See, my first thought when I saw that was he is like, when he loses, he is the embodiment of the archetype of like a 18th century high class woman, you know. Oh goodness, I must sit down. Type of situation, because it's just so over the top.
Okay, now I'm thinking of Dr. Animo as an 18th century woman. I'll get
Corsets.
I'll get y'all one day, Tennyson.
Oh my god.
So anyway, enough about that. Anyway, so pretty much Ben is the reaction that we do. It's Dr. Animo. He hears he's invincible. He's all powerful. He rules everything. The instant Ben sees him, he goes brainstorm, breaks the tether, and starts mocking him. That's what he does. He starts mocking him, gets up close, calls him by his real name, and delivers a giant cerebral blast right to his forehead.
Which is so funny because Ben's reaction to him is so different than everyone else's. They're all like, "No, this evil dude is going to kill us all. He is the baddest bad in the world."
But if you're a fan of Ben 10, have you seen him before?
But Ben, on the other hand, is sitting there and he's like,
"It's Dr. Animo. I've beaten him before. I can beat him again."
There is absolutely no fear. There's like no...
Even in the point where he is invulnerable, I'll get to that later very much. Like, even when he is, it's at a point where he's invulnerable, he's, like, he sees the danger, but he's not afraid.
No, it's like, he understands, yes, he's invincible, but there's still no baseline respect for the fact that he is a villain. It's just, it's
Dr. Animo.
That's all it is. It's just Dr. Animo.
Yeah. So they manage to get away, and of course Dr. Animo swears revenge because a helper knows his name, and so they manage to actually find farmers in the Null Void who are mining this thing called Cormite, which is what Dr. Animo is, because Dr. Animo is enslaved in the Null Void. He's using Null Guardians to enforce his rule, and he's having all the inhabitants mine for this thing called Cormite, and we actually get some nice backstory on what the Null Void was. Originally, it was a pocket dimension created by the Galvans to store their prisoners, and for some it was a prison, but for others it was pretty much space Australia. It was a chance to start over, gain new lives, but eventually over the years other races discovered the Null Void and started using it to dump their trash, which is what the Null Guardians were created for. So pretty much Ben says that he can help them fight Devoid / Dr. Animo because not only has he fought him, he's won, so he can probably talk to their leader. So they say, "That's our leader's the Wrench, you need to go see him." And so they go to see him, and we actually see Pierce again. It turns out that apparently when he died in Plumber's Helpers, he really went into the Null Void, which I guess at that point makes sense, because they thought the Null Void canon annihilated people before. So Ben briefly fights him. He lets Pierce win so that he can see him. And so he goes to see the Wrench, and I already talked about this in Max Out, but it's Max! It's Max Tennyson. Grandpa Max is alive again, and as a kid, when I saw that, I was shocked. Because when I saw Max...
I called it.
Yeah, when Max... Except you called him Uncle Ben.
I did, but that's just because my brain is... dead.
Yeah. Well, she knew what the character was anyway. But pretty much, when I was a kid, this shocked me to no end, because in Max Out, I thought he died. They kept that up throughout the rest of Season 1 and the first half of Season 2. Like, you thought, even in the video game that came out before this, they said, knew your grandfather. Like, they kept making you think, oh, he's dead. So to see him come back, and it turns out he's still doing his thing, is just amazing.
But see, in my opinion, the only people who actually kill off characters like Grandpa Max, who are, the Yoda type characters,
especially when they're a main character from the original show.
But the only people who kill those off are like Marvel and DC. Those are like the only two main guys that I know who kill them off, because otherwise it's like, yeah, these guys, everyone likes them because they're the old people that make the weird jokes, and yeah.
Well, sometimes they bring them back for the sake of...
Well, yes, but you can always bring people back. You just have to kill them.
Magic Medallion.
But
But
Yeah.
but anyway, it turns out that the reason Max is here is that in the Max Out episode, when he took off the focusing lens on the null void projector and turned it into a hand grenade, while it destroyed everything else, it didn't kill him. It instead blasted him, and I assume the hybrid, so he's probably somewhere in the null void. Don't know where. Don't care. It blasted him to the null void, and he originally planned on going, leaving, and everything. But he saw what Dr. Ammo was doing and decided he would at least do something, which is why, or at least throw a monkey wrench into the system, which is why he's called the Wrench. So. Yeah. Pretty much, Ben is happy to see him, and he learned. The annoying guy stated earlier that the dimension was destabilizing, so Ben relays that to Max, and he realizes that. And this is where we're told why Dr. Animo was having all the inhabitants mine core might. He's using it to power this giant drill that's supposed to break through the dimensional barrier and pretty much allow Dr. Ammo to bring his army to Earth.
Which is part of it. It's like if he were to succeed, he's going to get here and he's going to fail again.
Actually, yeah. The more I think about it,
why would he want to leave? This is the one place where he's a badass.
Yeah, when you see him, he looks intimidating. He tries to sound intimidating. He's invincible. He's got an armada. Pretty much, I guess he's greedy. He's greedy. Yeah. He likes power. He likes power. In his second appearance, he wanted to turn the Earth into. He wanted to demutate the Earth, de-evolve the Earth.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like
he wants power, pretty much.
But I feel like he's smart enough where he should realize when you've tried it here, it hasn't worked. Well, when you've done the same thing here, it has. Maybe stay here. Don't go there.
Well, and this is kind of something that's been present with Dr. Animo. He's always got a guy that grasps power. It's like he's the guy that he's pretty much the epitome of you give him an inch, he takes a mile. If he's gotten power, he wants it for himself. He keeps grabbing, and that's what's usually the best about him. And he doesn't go for the small stuff. He wants to go larger. In his first appearance, rather than going into a mall and buying the products he needed for his transmogrifying device, he brought a giant bullfrog in and stole everything.
Because, that's the best way to do things.
But that's exactly that's the thing with his character. He goes over the top. That's always what he is. That's what he aims for. So when he has all this power here, he's obviously thinks, I want more. I want more. That's always what he wants. He wants more. It's just that he's kind of a goof.
Yeah. But he's so serious about it. Like, it doesn't seem like it computes, though, why sending a giant bullfrog in to do his dirty work isn't the best way to go.
But that's what makes him so cool.
It's like,
He likes he likes where he is, and you don't want to change it.
Yeah.
I don't like change.
Yeah.
So anyway, pretty much because of this stage, Max says they have to break in, but Ben says, well, why don't we sneak in? Because the farmers were giving them all. Because the farmers, whenever they have enough core might, they drop them into they put them in these canisters that the Null Guardians pick up. So they sneak into one of them. The Null Guardians carry them into the fortress, and pretty much it's an all-out fight. Pretty much when they get there, it leads to an all-out fight that everyone's taking out Null Guardians, everyone's fighting, everyone's winning, it's going well, and then Animo shows up, and he's pretty much, this is kind of where he's the most calm, honestly. And honestly, and I think it's because it makes sense, because he's in a place where he's completely invincible, but of course, he says, Max Tennyson, so you're the Wrench, and young Ben, always a pleasure to try and end your miserable interfering life. And of course, Ben smacks him with his Humongosaur.
Mm-hmm.
But he not only takes it, he's able to flip Humongosaur.
Yeah.
Throw him back. Ben tries going Brainstorm, but electric attacks aren't working. So Ben realizes something's not right. When they were outside the Citadel, he was able to paralyze him. Here, nothing he's doing is working. And so Ben starts putting things together, and he realizes it's not. It turns out that the core might isn't just powering the drill; it powers Animo. It's what's making him invulnerable. It's what's giving him all this power. So Ben jumps down into the furnace or the drill, goes big chill and freezes it up, and yeah.
And they win!
Yeah, pretty much. The drill
Ta-da!
freezes up, and because it was drilling through time and space, it causes it to snow, and Animo has his hammy breakdown where he realizes, oh crap, I lost again to the kid with the watch.
He all but fell to his knees and screamed to the sky, "What?"
And he tried to get one last lick in too, because that's always like him too. Because he sees Max, he's like, dang it! And Max just punches him.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
So, pretty much that's how the episode ends. Pretty much
And then
Dr. Animo's defeated. It's also never explained how he came into the Null Void. Now that I think about it, because they never explain how he came into the Null Void. That's my phone, by the way.
I would think because other places were dumping their criminals.
But he's a super criminal, yeah. But he's a super criminal on Earth.
Well, yes, but there are
and he's gone to jail before.
Well, but he's also escaped from jail before.
That's true.
But so they probably were like, okay, you're too much for us. Not in like, oh God, you're going to destroy the world type of way, but you're just too much. So we'll send you here so we don't have to deal with you.
I'm guessing the plumbers did it in secret or something. I don't know, but it's never shown how he did that. But how he came to the null void in the 5 years between this show and the classic series. But bottom line, before Max is saying we have to put everything together. But at that moment, Gwen manages to open a portal to the null void. She sees Ben, and not only that, she sees Max is alive and well. And Max says, "Look, you need to go. I have to stay here and fix everything. The world needs you. You don't need my help." It's just some nice general stuff and some nice character stuff. So Gwen and Kevin manage to grab Ben, pull him through, and pretty much the day is saved. So
yeah,
I pretty much like this episode because I love the ties to the classic series, not just with Max and Dr. Animo, who I think are great here, because Max is a great character from the original series, and it was shocking to see his death in Max Out and to see him alive and well. It doesn't negate it. Well, it kind of does. Well, not really. But it's just nice to see.
His explanation. I thought his explanation was hilarious. You remember that grenade I made? Well, it didn't blow me up.
Yeah. Well, it was from a null void projector still, but anyway. Either way, it does. But either way, it's still a nice way. It's still nice seeing Max again, especially since he was a main character from the original show. And then on top of that, Dr. Animo, another villain from the original show, and he's still in form here, trying to be serious, but because if you know the character, it's just funny. It's just fun, especially when you see Ben just still fighting him like nothing changed. It's really nice.
Well, I have a few things about particularly the end of the episode, because, when, Grandpa Max told Ben, just go, I have to stay here, and then he's like, we'll come back when we're done here. It's like, okay, you're setting up for some big final battle. Which makes sense.
Yeah, because that's what they were building up to.
Yeah.
Anyway. They were building throughout the series, they were getting allies and everything.
But this moment in particular, Grandpa Max is back, and so then him saying, we'll be back soon, it's kind of like going, it's coming, guys.
You can pretty much put at the end of the episode, Max Tennyson will return, like in one of the Marvel movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I don't understand how none of the other people who have been dealing with Dr. Animo in this universe for so long hadn't noticed why he was so strong or where he was getting his power.
Okay, well, to be fair, in this case, no one knew about Dr. Animo before this, because at one point in the episode, Ben is talking about how he faced Dr. Animo before, and in the episode we see Manny. It turns out Manny lost one of his hands when he went to fight Dr. Animo. He now has a replacement robot hand, but when Ben says, I fought him on Earth before, and he's like, wait, you fought him? How did you survive? And Ben says, not only survive, I won. The idea that he's not invincible is surprising to them, because this is how they know him. Odds are, even if he wasn't invincible, odds are he still had enough residual power stored that he could still hold his own, still be strong, even when they showed him in the first beginning, he wasn't in the thing, but he wasn't in his fortress, but they blasted him several times, and he didn't even notice. It wasn't until Ben shocked him right in his right in the brain that he actually started to react.
Which I get and everything, but at the same time, in most cases, in a plot line like this, when you are faced with an invincible person, you try to figure out what makes them invincible. You don't just go, oh, he's invincible, can't do nothing.
Well, I think in this case, even if they tried, they don't. I think even if they tried, he was too powerful, and even then. Even then, he was so powerful. He was their primary target. He was the one they were going after. Odds are they wouldn't have put two and two together. And like I said, he has enough residual energy out of the fortress so that he's still extremely powerful and practically invulnerable. So,
but what I'm talking about specifically is them just noticing where his power is coming from. Because, for example, the moment Ben noticed was when he saw the little light lines going up. Towards Dr. Animo and into him and everything, as if he were drawing power from the area, which I feel like they should have noticed, because he's literally just standing there. Oh, hey, look at this. I understand it all now.
Okay, I'll give you that one. But then here's my defense.
Mm-hmm.
How would they have been able to stop the Cormite drill? How would they have been able to stop it? He's got a giant freaking drill and dozens of Nilfgaardians that can shoot lasers out of their mouths.
Grandpa Max had the time to put together a centipede gumbo. He will have time to figure out how to make something that would make everything very cold. Personal opinion.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I actually did like the episode, but
Well, even good things can have something wrong with them. Yeah, like for example, why did Ben fall into there and then turn to Big Chill when he could have turned to Big Chill and then just flown down?
I personally think that was just an artistic choice to be more dramatic.
Yes,
because let's be honest, Ben is a little bit of a drama queen too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. Even in this show, he's kind of full of himself. He likes to show off a little, but that's part of the reason why what I like with the characters in Alien Force. They have enough of the characters so you can still recognize them, but they've changed enough so that you can tell they're matured older.
Yeah, well, it's less of them changing and it's more of them just actually growing up.
Yeah.
Like it's the logical step of progression
until season 3, but that's another can of worms.
Well then,
that's another can of worms. But again,
we're not there yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else to talk about. Oh yeah, what I was talking about, my main point. It's actually the entire episode's kind of like a callback to classic Ben 10, like the null taking place in the Null Void, bringing back Max and Dr. Animo. There's even some cameos of other aliens you've seen in the series. Like one of the aliens in the Armada was this guy with 4 arms, with 4 eyes, green claws, and these short stubby legs. That was actually an alien that was summoned in one episode of the original series to fight Ben. And then of course, and there was even in Max's little group, there was a blue Vulpamancer. Don't know why it was blue, but it was the same design, same look. It was so obviously a wild mutt. The only difference was it's blue. It's a nice little callbacks, nice little things. It's just little things I like that. It's just like a nice.
It definitely seemed more like a nostalgia episode for all of the older, like for the longtime fans.
Yeah, that's actually what I think it is. It's kind of a blend between both. Like it still has the drama and seriousness because Dr. Animo, despite if you know him, you can't deny what he's done. He's completely subjugated this entire this entire dimension. He's got all the power. He's enslaved them all, and he's a big threat. But at the same time, when Ben sees him, when they fight, you can't help but snicker and agree with Ben.
Yeah, I mean, well, when the helpers are talking about him, it's like it sounds so serious, and you're expecting like this totally undefeatable guy to come out, and when Ben's talking about him, it's a total different attitude. It's just like it brings it back to reality that he's not that serious. He's not that big of a deal, which is really interesting to see how the two different groups go about it.
Yeah, like they're treating him like he's a giant threat. Ben's just treating this like another bout with Animo. And that's another thing that I kind of like too, especially when he meets with Max, and when Max says, "Well, what you doing here? How'd you get here? And how did Pierce beat you?" And Ben says, "I kind of let him win." It's just nice. It's just little stuff like that. It has the drama and stakes that you would expect from Alien Force, but it actually has enough little callbacks and some nice humor, especially when you see Ben seeing Dr. Animo in his new form. Just kind of to kind of remind you of the classic series, which I like.
Yes, I do too. The only thing that I personally would have liked better, just because he is my number one, is I would like to have seen a little more Kevin in this. Because I really do like him. Don't give me that look. Don't give me that look.
I'm giving you the look.
Kevin is amazing!
Okay, fine. He's a good character.
Yes!
He's still a very good character.
And it's on recording! Yes!
And it's going on YouTube, okay? And I admitted it. I admitted it in Kevin 11. He's a fun character when he was a villain. He was a fun character in this show because he's funny, he's snarky, he's very amusing. Like he's very
You've all
amusing.
borne witness to this moment. Thank you.
I think that pretty much wraps it up anyway. I think we covered our thoughts. It was a very good episode. We both liked it. I felt it was a nice callback. I felt that it contained enough elements that it was very nice while still maintaining what keeps Alien Force good, what kind of shows how they mature, while still having enough there to remind you it's Ben 10, and it's kind of it's a nice callback. It brings back 2 of the best characters in the show, both good and bad.
I mean, some opinion of the best, because
I like Dr. Animo, okay?
I understand. He's something.
I call him the Lost Insano. So you don't know who Insano is, but But anyway, so I think that pretty much wraps it up.
I would agree.
So yeah. Thank you for watching, and thank you once again for joining me for this, Haley. Hopefully we'll see you again in a future one. Maybe, probably.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. Sure, let's do it.
That would be very fun. But not a two-parter, because then I would probably have to drive back the next week, or the week before.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe the movie. I don't know. That's in a few weeks.
Ooh, we do. Ooh.
Alien Swarm.
Yes, I'll just bring a notebook and I can keep notes rather than, yelling comments at the screen. I have a bad habit.
And yeah. Well, anyway, so.
Anyway.
Yeah, that pretty much.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm Samuel Johnson.
And I'm Haley Dudley.
And I'll see you next week for episode 22.
Bye.
Take care.